So, what's another way to say welcome? I keep saying welcome to the VIP podcast. So I say aloha?
But you say it so well. Like when you say it, I just get buzzed. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go, man.
I do notice that.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, you click into mode, like, all right, I'm ready to go. But I don't know. Like, aloha, hi?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa? I don't know. Welcome to the VIP podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Today's guest is going to hit on some stuff, I hope we do anyway, that you guys are all dealing with. You all probably have a website.
Yep.
But I want to talk about how we can improve that and talk about the must-haves in your website.
And I would say websites are something that people put on the back burner. Like either you did the website thing 4 or 5 years ago and now you're kind of like, it's on the back burner. I haven't really thought about it.
Yeah.
Or you don't have one and you're listening to this because you probably should have one.
Yeah.
Right? But like they're important, and I think it's time to take it off the back burner.
I think so too. And I think I'm going to slide in a question here about QR codes because I'm interested to see if they're back or not. So can we do
Let's
that?
go with the QR codes.
A little
Heck yes.
ADHD. Okay.
All right.
Squirrel, welcome. Welcome to the VIP podcast. Jason Walker, thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. So glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited you're here. And I need to know, before we get started, I just got through eating lunch, just to pull back curtain a little bit, and I'm still thinking about dessert. First of all, build me your ice cream sundae. What's on your sundae? What's your flavor of ice cream? What's your toppings? What's your sundae?
Ooh.
All right, it's actually going to be fairly simple, not a lot of toppings, and I ate it again last night.
Oh, you're making me so hungry.
2 to 3 nights in a row. Cherry cordial. I love cherry cordial.
Oh,
ice cream.
wow.
Wow.
I would not have expected that. Okay.
It
Out
is-
of left field.
it
That's
is
a classy
by far
ice
my
cream flavor.
favorite. Yeah, it's by far my favorite. It's got the big chocolate chunks in
Yes.
it, and then maraschino cherries. It's to die for me.
So no toppings on it. You got it all right there in the ice cream. So you're good.
Yes.
No cherry
Yes,
on
and I
top
don't-
needed.
Nothing needed because of everything that's already in cherry cordial ice cream. It's my favorite. My grandmother got me hooked decades ago, and I've never gone astray from it.
I'm the same way with Moose Tracks. I don't need anything else. It's just like all the chunks of chocolate and all the good stuff. Oh man! But thank you so much, Sid. What about you? What's your?
Oh, mint chocolate chip. Well, okay, so if I did a sundae.
You did a sundae.
Yeah, sundae I would do vanilla ice cream, caramel and chocolate syrup, and toasted pecans and walnuts.
Pretty specific.
Yeah, yeah, that's what. Yeah, 100%.
You've been thinking
Simple,
about
but
this
I
a
know
minute.
what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange Mike Chad.
I have to say the brownie is on the bottom.
The
Brownie.
warm brownie.
I didn't
right?
know brownie was an
Yeah, it's
option.
warm.
Now that hold on.
Brownie sundae.
It's got to be
They're-
warm brownie though, right?
It does. Everything needs to melt on top of it.
Yeah, it turns into that melted cream soaked up by
Oh,
the
yeah.
brownie. Oh.
Also,
yes.
have you guys ever had? I think it's called affogato, where they do the shot of espresso over vanilla ice cream.
Oh, that sounds good.
No.
Oh yeah, now that's good because it's like the bitter, coffee, espresso, caffeine plus the smooth, creamy vanilla.
Oh my gosh.
Especially if you
okay.
get a good shot of espresso.
Thank you for being here.
Why-
We're going to shut this thing down. I'm going to get some ice
I was
cream.
going to say, I'm glad this is the last
Yeah,
podcast.
see you later,
'cause
guys. Jason, you were a great guest. Good answers. Appreciate it. Go check out Forge. Anyway, no, dude, I'm so hungry now. So talk to me for a minute. Okay, so, with 17.
He's really on the ice cream train
I
right
can't
now.
think. Okay.
There's no bringing you back, Heath. Sorry.
No,
man.
there's not. Anyhow, with some 71% of policyholders researching the internet before buying a policy, why are websites so important right now? Just start off with a stat because I'm a stat nerd. But and I don't know if that stat's even real or not. But
Seems accurate.
seems pretty accurate. But
Yeah.
I think stats are made up anyway. So we'll just go with that. So a large number of people search online. But is that why are websites so important right now?
I would say in this hard market, which I know people are tired of talking about, hearing about, you've got the customer dynamic and then even prospect dynamic. And you've got 2 channels that are flooding those websites, trying to figure out whether or not you're going to place business or move business, and just becoming more educated about this market, why rates might be going up, why carriers might not be operating in specific areas. And the reliance on the independent agency to be able to convey that through something that's digital, because we all as consumers want to quickly find information. Nothing's really changed there. And so websites to be able to convey, to create this feeling that I've got you as an independent agency for the consumers, and doing that both for prospects and customers is at an all-time high. So it just creates some efficiency, takes some of the onus off of independent agencies from having to sit here and explain it all via phone. And consumers don't really want that either. They just need the quick hit.
Yeah, and so just like those people that are Googling cherry cordial ice cream right now because they don't know exactly what's in that, people are doing the same thing with insurance and Googling certain things.
Right.
Can you give some advice? This is a little off script a little bit, but some advice on people that could drive traffic towards their websites as people are Googling or, searching for whatever those various questions might be to drive them to their website?
Yeah, it's usually less of what I think might even be pandered or sold to agencies on top search terms versus the fact that we can speak into our phones and have a conversation. And as AI continues to become more and more part of our daily lives, we're able to talk to our devices like humans. So in this case, you might have a particular prospect or customer that's asking the question, why are my rates going up? And then the expectation is that I'm going to get fed back specific sites, pages, content that will ultimately answer that question. So as an independent agency, understanding how to build content and pages around particular ways that we're having conversations with a robot is extremely important. And that's how we search now. We're not just insurance in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I happen to be. That's still part of the search process, but we've grown way beyond that into semantic search. So just being able to support that with your website is extremely important.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am, I feel like there for a little while when, Facebook and, some of the social media sites came around, people kind of got away from websites a little bit and more focused on driving people towards their social media accounts. Mm-hmm. But now I feel like there's that resurgence of the website. Am I right on that? What do you think caused that?
You are correct. I think because
first.
Yeah.
Don't stroke his ego, Jason.
First all day, but thank you.
Well, if you think about it, we were all told, whether from a consumer perspective or a business perspective, start using Facebook because it has a lot of the information that we want to know. There's news pages. There is the word of mouth from the people that we're connected with. It's a great source for research. I would put a big question mark around that as we continue to advance year after year on what's considered good information, factual, and research versus just conjecture. And I think that we as consumers have started to realize there's a lot of opinion through those social media feeds, but I better be able to connect back to something that's a bit more specific to the space, that's factual, that understands the industry, in our case, insurance, and the nuances. Yes, I can still hear from someone that might be a friend or a colleague through those social channels, but I need to be redirected to a place that's factual. And so I think that our reliance on finding the right information that ultimately helps a good buying decision, because we've probably all run into those situations where we have buyer's remorse, we're ultimately going back to the websites that companies build in order to be able to talk in truth and fact. And so that helps support, in our case, independent insurance agencies that need to convey information.
Yeah.
So in websites, in the development of those websites, as people are getting back to those things now, what are some of those key things that people need to have on their website besides just like, here's the homepage and here's about us and whatever it might be? What are some of those things? Because I see there's a lot of change in that. At least people,
there is.
Used to be, it would be certain things. Now I feel like it's changed a little bit. What are some of those things that, from your expertise in this, what would that be now?
Websites are the virtual brick and mortar. I honestly, and Sid, you and I go way back to some of these conferences where we're talking about the reliance on, in person versus having a site that complements that in person. I think we're finally realizing that commentary that the website is the place where people are going to go to read more. So it's a sales and marketing tool. It's a servicing tool. And so from our perspective, as we think about Forge websites that we offer, we are doing things that keep a person in the experience and give them interaction so that it's not just I need to go find a phone number, or I need to understand where you're located as a brick and mortar, but more so, I have an auto policy and I need to be able to build onto that and round out what I'm ultimately trying to do to protect my family. Or as a business, I have a general liability policy, but I understand I should probably have some cybersecurity or workers' comp. And so bringing someone into that might already be a customer and telling them a bit more and allowing them to interact in such a way that I can service myself, educate, as well as buy, that site should serve all of those functions. So it's marketing, it's sales, and it's service. It can't just be the brochureware that I think, even some agencies still might have today. We got to break that mold.
Mm-hmm. What would you say if you looked at a pie chart and you had those three, areas of what's the word I'm looking for? Those three categories, I would say, of functionality on the website. What does the pie chart look like? Which one's the most important to, and I guess I should define important. By important, I mean who visits the website most, right? How is the website being used most often? All right, folks, get ready because Accelerate 2025 is rolling into Charlotte, the Queen City, on May 6th through 9th.
I mean, this is the NASCAR Hall of Fame. You're going to see amazing stuff, network with a lot of like-minded people who are tech forward. This is where you want to be in May.
So take that pit stop, see what I did there? With the Tech Hub, the latest InsurTech, live demos, hands-on environment where you can test drive. Whether you're looking to supercharge efficiency, tighten up your tech game, or optimize distribution management, this is where you're going to find your edge.
Join us at Accelerate 2025 in Charlotte and get ready to shift your agency into high gear. Who visits the website most, right? How is the website being used most often?
I think there's been a shift, almost like the discussion around social. You can think of the site the same way. Yeah. We were conditioned decades ago that a website is the funnel that plays as the catcher's mitt for ultimately trying to create new business. That's why paid advertising was such a big deal. We all remember the Google ads and buying them up and finding out later that's not the best source in many cases, but that's what it was. It was a sales tool. I would say the pie used to be majority, almost 100% sales in nature. And now it's expanded to that service piece where it's almost 50-50, Sid. And in a market where there's going to be a little less maybe movement and a little bit more staying power, you're going to be servicing the heck out of your existing clients. So if you're running marketing automation campaigns, you're probably including a link to your website that helps build on that service layer with that customer, or tells them visit a portal and pull down your policy and understand what you have, and we'll talk next week on our review call. So I would say that the servicing component of a website has started to at least have parity with selling and prospecting because of, one, the market that we're in, and two, again, as consumers, we want to be able to take care of all of our needs, whether we're a customer or we're a prospect. So it's a split at this point, but in a market where we need to service more, you're probably going to see an uptick on that.
Yeah, you brought up the portfolio of products that Agency Revolution provides. And before I get into the question, why did you guys purchase Forge 3? A little background for those listening. You actually have a ton of experience in the website company space, website building space. You've been doing this for a long time. So I actually, when I heard that you became the CEO of Agency Revolution, and then a few years later, purchased Forge 3, I was like, that makes total sense. So talk to me a little bit about your thought process in adding Forge 3 to that portfolio of products.
Actually, well stated. Because I'm coming from businesses that were building websites, that's always been a priority or core. And a lot of people will say, doesn't everybody have a website now? The answer is, yeah, kind of. But the question becomes more of quality associated with the website and whether or not it's specific to the industry, which was always important and still is important to me, is that the provider of a solution to an agency better understand the industry and be able to provide the things that will help to captivate consumers, whether, again, you're a prospect or a customer. So the website is the entry point, in my opinion, for all digital business. And then you have a bunch of things that surround it, like social, paid advertising, word of mouth that ultimately points back. It's still a core component to an independent insurance agency's tech stack. And so fast forward to the acquisition of Forge 3, I was actually coming into Agency Revolution as that acquison was taking place.
That's awesome.
I know. That was actually the thing.
I know. I'm aware. That's awesome.
Well, no, I say that with like love.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
Because I'm coming in at the critical moment, and you're sharing with me that we're acquiring Forge 3, which in my opinion, even when I was running other things, was like top tier, top notch website product, because agencies need more than just that sales funnel. They need sales, they need service, they need educational pieces that keep people. Forge 3 matched all of that. And Agency Revolution was always providing websites. We called it Attract. I think we upskilled ourselves when bringing in Forge 3, which we now call Forge, the website product, to complement our marketing automation Fuse product. So to me, it's a perfect complement to one another, and Forge 3 is the best.
Okay, so you brought up, and kind of, when you talk about websites, one of the things that, and this is a soapbox for me, and so hopefully, we don't argue about this, but I don't want to argue with my guest ever.
He's in a fighting mood today,
right?
So
I've tried to arm wrestle her for 2 days now, but
we started with ice cream, so it can't be that bad.
Right? No, I see a lot of agencies with websites, and a lot of times they're canned, like the same 3 designs, and like, I have a website, but like, it looks the same as the guy down the street or the guy in the next state over or the guy, across the country. Same exact format, just change the colors a little bit. But you guys take that a little bit further and talk to you about that a little bit. And those that do have those canned, I'm telling you from my perspective, from Uncle Heath over here, don't do that. Work with someone that can customize that and tailor that to fit your personality and your agency and what you guys are doing. But talk to me a little bit about, there was no real question there. I just wanted to state my soapbox there and have you kind of expand on that.
The real superpower of Forge, and it's actually the people associated with the business that provides the product. And I say that with the utmost respect. Monica Barraquette was for all intents and purposes, COO of Forge 3 prior to the acquisition. She now leads all of operations. And one of the things we noticed when bringing that company into our culture was the fact that there was such rave reviews and loyalty to the brand. And that was because of the treatment of our agencies. And why does that matter then, to your question, Heath? Is because when we inbound or take in an agency after they've bought the product, we have a specific process that we put humans against. It's not something where it's just come in, build a website by pressing buttons, and out pops the end result, which is usually the thing that looks exactly the same as the agent down the street. We are taking into consideration the fact that we are working with thousands of independent agencies that all have differentiation. Yes, we might have the same appointments across the board. We might have similar products, but there's something fundamental to every independent agency that they do differently. And it goes beyond the retention, which everyone says is great. It goes beyond the fact that they service their customers well. We dig into that, and then we bring that forward to ultimately create this culture on the website itself. And then when you leverage brand palette and their logo, we make sure that it feels different than the next site that we build for the next agency. We're built on a similar platform, but that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah. And, one example I will use is, to your point a little bit, is a lot of people for a while were thinking, I have to have a video on my website, like an introductory video, or have to use video more on my website. And sure, that would work, but it has to fit your personality of your agency. And if you don't have that personality within your agency, don't use video.
Yeah.
And I could go into a whole lot more, but like, talk to them a little bit more about, finding your brand and like your voice and what you guys stand for and using that within your website.
Yeah. So our agencies usually have a couple things that make them stand out. And then how do we double down on that? So one of the things that the agencies will do is list all of the niche audiences that they go after in industries. And we have something called clickable coverage that gets just phenomenal feedback, where it's these designed elements on the site that ultimately represent a particular industry or scenario, like restaurant, and all the things you need to do to ensure it. We create a beautiful visual that looks like a restaurant with a bunch of hot spots on it, specific to that agency. The next site, they may be focused on covering yachts sitting at a harbor. And so we have beautiful imagery associated with that and tie it all together into who they're going after. The other piece is that, yes, video is important, but how do you use it? We've incorporated video for proposal purposes because we know that an agency at the end of the day is putting out specific contracts and needing responses back from the customer, but doing that in a digitized space, you lose that personal connection. And so what we do is empower the agent not to just create the next video you slam on the front of your site, but to complement what you're sending ultimately that needs signature with your voiceover on video. And so that helps to explain the policy, all of the coverage types, and the places for that customer to go to look through. And it speeds up the process on the buying side. And so these are different elements where we're able to bring the personality of the agent out, but ultimately it's really just empowering them. They're still the voice to all of this. They're the reason why the customer is trusting in them.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I would ask it because I am the video guy and I'm just curious.
You're so much more than a video guy.
Oh well, Orange Mike Chad has this thought that video is very important. However, like he's saying, you have to utilize it in the right way. My question to him would be, do you use that just for one aspect of your website, or can you use it to educate? Because you said there's the 50-50 pie chart there, but the education is that other part.
Yes.
Where would you take it from there?
So, good question. We are, in addition to like the video proposals I explained and the different places to be able to look at types of coverage, we're also, for agencies that opt in, we have specific animated videos around explaining the situations and scenarios you might get yourself in, whether you're a personal lines consumer or a commercial lines consumer. And then we have kind of a cute, kitschy way for agencies to be able to convey something that sometimes is boring, like insurance. And so I'm thinking of one where there's a person jumping out of a plane and talking about all the risks that surround them until their parachute pops up because they've found the right coverages. So we are empowering agencies with video specific to products, and we're doing it in an animated way that makes it feel colorful and engaging. And that is a quick way to educate instead of, this is what general liability means, point by point by point. We're doing it in such a way using video to bring out, I think, the fun side of our industry.
I'm going to say almost 10 years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, I took a CE course or a designation course, and there was this thing introduced to me that I thought was the most amazing thing ever, and it disappeared for a while, and now it's coming back, and that was QR codes. And, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, that I can have this little code to drive people to my website and whatnot. And then it went away, and now it's made this resurgence again. Are you seeing, why is that? Is that something that you guys work with, or you encourage people to have those? And, talk to me a little bit about that, because I was interested in why it went away and then came back.
Yes. I think it's because finally at the end of that QR code, there's now something substantial to say or a way to talk to your audience. Because people initially were just so enamored with the fact that you have a QR code that what was behind the scenes was less than interesting. And so we as consumers, after several attempts of scanning QR codes and getting left in the dust, we were not excited about it. So they died down. Now what's happening is QR code, I'm seeing it a lot on agency cards when I'm getting them from agents and they're talking to me. They'll be like, hey, scan this because it'll take you to a particular place that gives you a little bit more information about what we're all about. That is a concerted effort or educational way to leverage a QR code. And I think we've figured it out as consumers that, this is the way that we need to, take in a QR code, information associated, and business owners need to do the same.
So the problem wasn't the QR code, it was the end result or the use case of the QR code.
Yes.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was, I'm seeing a lot more agencies now and more of the embedding part of it, of being able to have their clients quote on their website or find certain things like that. Is that something that every agency should do? Is that another one of those situational type of things?
situational.
Okay.
You'll get agencies that will say, I'm comfortable allowing the customer to go so far by giving them tools that ultimately take them further down the funnel. You have other agencies that will say, I want everything to result in a phone call. So please just give them this very generic form, and then I'll take it from there. The agencies are still using those quoting tools in the background. Who wants to surface it on the front end is a different story. Mm-hmm. But all of them are using them in some way, shape, and form, whether up front or behind the scenes.
So wrap up question, unless you have anything else. I hate to do it because we love having these conversations with you, and it's been a blast. You guys have been a part of the Orange Partner Program for quite a while now. If you could just give me a high level of, like, first of all, for those that don't know about AR, if you just want to give a quick, elevator pitch on that, you got 30 seconds there, and then maybe talk about what the Orange Partner Program means to you and what that's done for you in the business.
Yeah. So Agency Revolution drives growth and retention for our agencies. We do that through really two core products: websites, which we call Forge, and communication and marketing automation, which we call Fuse. And the two combined ultimately help our agencies continue to have education to their clients and prospects, bring them through a concerted funnel, and convert them. And then, because of great relationships, and I'll just take it straight into the Orange Partnership, which we're grateful for, is the fact that our tools and solutions are powerful because we're integrated with, in Vertafore's case, QQ Catalyst and AMS 360 on the Fuse front, where we're able to pull information about the policyholder into our communication tool to ultimately say something very smart based on wherever that client is in their process, whether that's coming in for the first time and getting a welcome package or renewing. On the Forge side, we are happily now integrated directly with Agency Zoom, which is a big piece for us. It happened June 17th, I think is the exact date. Before that, we were using Zapier to be able to handle that, which was a little clunky. And we have agencies that are now using the new direct integration. If you use Zapier, that'll continue. But moving forward, we're leveraging the direct integration that we're proud of. That ultimately is able to take the lead information and put it straight into Agency Zoom, however the agency has constructed their funnels internally. And in addition, we're able to do that with QQ Catalyst. We're able to do that with AMS 360. We link to InsureLink. We link to PL Rater. Why I'm noting all the linkages and or the integrations is because that to us is what matters to the agency most.
Yep.
The concerted effort to bring it all together.
Yep.
And for us at Agency Revolution to say it's us and Vertafore.
Yep.
Dude,
and they're like, can you go further? No, that's it.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And I got to rewind a second to that. That was a great elevator pitch. You've been on many elevators and used that before, haven't you?
I have. You have to be succinct.
I love a good elevator. It's almost like a pickup line for business. But anyhow, I really appreciate the kind words. I appreciate everything you said and all the integration, everything you're doing for our customers, together. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Heath. Thank you, Sid. Appreciate you both.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a great day, man.
All right. You too.